better technique because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think.
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete... They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled.
Does he win? Can he beat him? Can he beat Canelo? Is his skill so much that he's able to bridge the weight classes?
He has a legitimate chance. Over 60% for his mind. If you say, Bernard, give me a number.
Give me a number.
He has an 85+ chance to beat Canelo.
Experts are sharing their thoughts on the upcoming clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Israel Madrimov believes that if the fight goes the full 12 rounds, Crawford has the advantage thanks to his sharp power, high ring IQ, and ability to adapt under pressure. Still, Madrimov admits it's not an easy prediction because Canelo's experience and natural size make this matchup very tough. For him, it feels like a true 50-50 battle.
12 rounds, Crawford win, I think.
Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, what do you think about that fight if they did fight? Looks like it's up for September.
Good fight.
I got you.
You know, if 168 pounds, I think it's Canelo, but it's Canelo better technique. Because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think. If knockout, it's Canelo.
What makes Crawford so difficult to fight against?
Is it that one?
He has power, smart, in more practical.
We're talking about
He has more experience.
When talks first began about Canelo Alvarez facing Terence Crawford, many immediately saw Canelo as the clear favorite. The reasoning was simple. Canelo had already proven himself at higher weight classes, while Crawford was only starting to move beyond welterweight. Showbiz The Adult captured this early view, saying the fight looked one-sided at first glance. But once training camp footage and photos of Crawford surfaced, the story began to change. Crawford looked strong, fast, and well-adjusted to his new weight. Instead of being overwhelmed, he appeared sharp and fully capable of carrying his skills into a bigger division. This quick shift shows how fast opinions in boxing can change once preparation and form become visible.
To stand on. Now, the other second point that I think is becoming a fact is this. This fight was initially kind of a one-sided credited fight where if Terence Crawford beats Saul Canelo Alvarez, he's on a Mount Rushmore. If Saul Canelo Alvarez beats Bud Crawford, it's kind of like, of course. But now the Bud Buddies has gone across all of social media and attacked social media so impactfully, like a plague, that now it's starting to give more value if Saul Canelo Alvarez wins. And let me tell you what I mean. You cannot tell everybody they're haters and they're stupid for thinking Canelo wins and say, hey, y'all going to find out come September 13th how great Bud Crawford is. And you speak Crawford up, you know, you say, yeah, you said the same thing about Spence and Crawford that beat all these. You just don't know. You know, you have all these all-time great fighters saying that Crawford wins. So come September 14th, if Saul Canelo Alvarez has beaten Crawford or destroyed him, you can't take it back now. You're going to have to be like, Saul Canelo Alvarez is on Mount Rushmore, right? I mean, you can't go this heavy all over social media and in which social media controls media. So it's everything. You can't flood social media like this and just wave after wave talk about how Bud is going to whoop Canelo and forget boots and all the preparation, all that stuff. And then if Canelo wins, you don't have the same energy.
Romero represents those who remain skeptical, insisting weight differences can't be ignored. His view reflects a long-standing truth in boxing. Divisions exist to keep things fair and to prevent size mismatches. Romero argues that no matter how skilled Crawford is, moving up so much in weight is a serious risk. He points to history, where fighters who climbed too far beyond their natural class often struggled. To him, Crawford's brilliance at 147 doesn't guarantee success at 168, especially against Canelo, who has dominated the super middleweight division for years.
At Canelo, we got Terence Crawford. That's going to happen in the fall. It's going to happen here in Sin City, your hometown. How do you feel about that matchup?
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled. And this isn't a skill matchup. It has nothing to do with skill. It has to.
Bernard Hopkins, a true legend of the sport, gave a bold take by assigning Crawford an 85% chance to win. Hopkins believes Crawford's intelligence, patience, and tactical awareness make him especially dangerous for Canelo. He highlights Crawford's ability to adapt mid-fight and switch styles seamlessly, tools that could neutralize Canelo's counters and pressure. Hopkins also knows from experience that physical disadvantages can be overcome by discipline and sticking to a smart game plan. By giving Crawford such a high percentage, Hopkins is essentially framing the fight not as an uphill battle, but as a chance for Crawford to redefine greatness. Meanwhile, David Benavidez, who has fought in the super middleweight division, takes a more practical view and favors Canelo, mainly because of the size difference.
Can he beat him? Can he beat Canelo? Is his skill so much that he's able to bridge the weight classes?
He has a legitimate chance. Over 60% for as my, if you say Bernard, give me a number.
Give me a number.
He has an 85+ chance to beat Canelo. Why? He's not going in there to prove something, which will fall into Canelo's hand. He would love for him to prove something. That means you will stay there and try to prove something. But to go in there and to let him know, establish that from the first round, that I belong without showing that I am tough. I earned my position to be here. And I want to show you, even though you're being stubborn, that your time not only have came, but it's gone. He ain't going to surrender and say, I slowed up, so I'm going to act like it. No, he has to be shown. And it has to be early.
Benavidez points out that Canelo has spent his career at higher weights and is comfortable facing strong opponents at 168. Crawford, on the other hand, is entering new territory. For Benavidez, the gap between a natural super middleweight and a welterweight moving up is just too wide. He stresses that this isn't about doubting Crawford's skills, but about recognizing how much comfort and experience matter at the highest level.
Benavidez is choosing Canelo Alvarez to win over Terence Crawford. With that said, David Benavidez has finally given a straight and probably his final prediction for this fight, with him choosing Canelo Alvarez. Now, Benavidez, however, made it perfectly clear that despite him choosing Canelo Alvarez over Terence Crawford, this doesn't necessarily mean that he's actually rooting or backing up Canelo Alvarez. In an interview posted on the Rob's World of Boxing YouTube channel, David Benavidez explained that Terence Crawford, who's pretty much jumping 3 weight divisions in comparison to Canelo, who Benavidez views as a natural super middleweight, will be this fight's biggest deciding factor. Once again, Benavidez clarified that he's not saying that he wants Canelo to win. However, given the circumstances, his prediction is fueled by the weight division argument and not by his emotional or personal views regarding Canelo or Terence Crawford.
Tim Bradley, however, views the fight differently. He sees Crawford as the more skilled technician who can outthink and outmaneuver Canelo. Bradley explains that Crawford's ability to adjust mid-fight has allowed him to dominate across divisions without much difficulty. In his eyes, Canelo's slower pace and reliance on timing could be exposed by Crawford's versatility. Bradley is confident that Crawford's ring IQ and precision will prove too much for Canelo. For Bradley, this isn't guesswork.
I woke up 3 a.m. I don't know, someone told me to study Canelo, study Crawford. Crawford about to beat the shit out of Canelo Alvarez. I'm letting y'all know right now, he about to beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez. Yes, he is.
Brian Bomac, McIntyre, Crawford's longtime trainer, dismisses the idea that size will be a deciding factor. He argues that while Canelo has fought at higher weights, he isn't one of the biggest super middleweights out there. Instead, Canelo is more compact and relies on strength and technique. Bomac believes this makes the weight gap less important than critics claim. His confidence comes from years of working with Crawford and seeing firsthand how well he handles challenges. To Bomac, Crawford has the tools to match whatever Canelo brings.
Around big any goddamn way.
Right. Yeah. Now, Canelo is the bigger guy, right? But
he ain't the bigger guy.
That's what they say. They say he's wider. He's got more mass. How are you feeling about Bud going in there taking on Canelo's power?
But shit, I don't give a fuck about that power. Well, how you beat power?
Speed.
You said what?
Speed.
And what else?
IQ.
Timing.
That's why you're the coach and I'm not.
I mean, you make some good. I mean, you got some good answers, but that power ain't gonna be able to sustain throughout the fight. Watch. And he usually slows down between 6 and 7. You slow down.
Trainer Robert Garcia also leans toward Crawford, focusing more on skill than size. Garcia points to examples in boxing history where superior technique defeated physical advantages. He believes Crawford is that type of fighter, someone who bends conventional wisdom. Garcia praises Crawford's patience, ring control, and timing, all of which he thinks will be decisive against Canelo. By siding with Crawford, Garcia reinforces the belief that boxing is ultimately a battle of intelligence as much as physical attributes.
What are your thoughts on Canelo versus Crawford? Highly anticipated fight, quickly approaching.
I know a lot of people are not very excited about that fight, and they think the size difference, huge difference. But Crawford's big, man. Crawford's a very strong fighter. He's a very smart fighter also. So look, the way Canelo's been fighting his last couple of fights, where he's just looking for one punch at a time and maybe not doing enough to hurt his opponents, maybe not doing enough to finish them off. I could see Crawford pulling it off.
Decision?
I think Crawford could pull off a decision because he's fast, he's smart, and he doesn't need to run. He could stay around Canelo and just pretty much focus on winning a decision. Because I don't think he could knock out Canelo, but he could definitely win a decision.
That's it for today's video. This fight is shaping up to be one of the most fascinating matchups in recent boxing history, with experts divided and fans buzzing with excitement. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit the like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more boxing updates and analysis. Until next time,